One company owns 90% of global search, owns YouTube, owns Android on 3 billion devices, runs the AI infrastructure behind Gemini, and even powers parts of Claude's backend, has stakes in SpaceX and Anthropic, and dominates digital advertising worldwide. And it's trading at a 22 times PE. That's cheaper than Costco. This is the most mispriced mega cap in the market, and almost nobody is paying attention. Let's run through what Alphabet actually controls, because I don't think people fully grasp how deep this goes. Google search, 90% of the world's search traffic. That's not a market share, that's a monopoly in plain sight. YouTube, over $60 billion in revenue last year across ads and subscriptions. That's bigger than Netflix, bigger than most media companies on the planet. Android, 3 billion plus active devices globally. That's the operating system for nearly half the world's phones. Google Cloud, $17.7 billion last quarter alone, up 48% year over year. They're the third largest cloud provider and gaining fast. Then there's the stuff people forget. They own 14% of Anthropic, 8% of SpaceX through various Google ventures. They run Waymo, which is doing 15 million fully driverless trips and is years ahead of Tesla in actual autonomous deployment. And they just brought their robotics company Intrinsic back in-house, calling it the Android of robotics. This is not a search company. This is a holding company for the future of the internet. Q4 2025. Alphabet beat on top and bottom line. Revenue came in at $113.8 billion. Earnings per share at $282 versus $263 expected. Full year revenue, $403 billion, up 15%. Google Cloud is now running at a $70 billion annual rate and accelerating. Search grew 17%. Subscriptions grew 17%. And here's the kicker. They just announced 2026 capex guidance of $175 to $185 billion. That's potentially double what they spent last year, all going into AI infrastructure. They're not just playing the AI game, they're building the entire arena. 44 analysts rate this a strong buy. Average price target, $352. The stock is sitting at $306 right now. That's 15% upside to consensus, and the bulls think that's conservative. So how is this trading at a 22 times PE? For context, Costco trades at over 50 times earnings. Palantir trades at over 200. Tesla at 380. Even the S&P 500 average is around 21. Google is basically trading at the market average despite being the most dominant technology conglomerate on Earth. The stock is up 82% in the last year, but it's still only 13% off its all-time high at $349. The market is punishing Google for two things. 1, the antitrust overhang. The DOJ case is real and unresolved. 2, the fear that AI will disrupt search, that ChatGPT and Perplexity will eat Google's lunch. But here's the counter-argument. Google isn't losing to AI. Google is becoming the AI infrastructure layer. Gemini is embedded across every Google product. They're spending up to $185 billion on AI capex, and they just signed a deal where Meta is renting Google's TPU chips to train their own models. When your competitor is paying you to build their AI, you're not losing, you're the platform. So what's the chaos capital take? People are sleeping on Google because it's boring. It's not flashy like Tesla. It's not controversial like Palantir. It doesn't have a cult leader CEO doing podcast rounds. But boring is where value hides. At a 22 times PE with 90% of search, the fastest growing cloud business among the big three, a $60 billion YouTube empire, a multi-billion-dollar AI capex plan, stakes in SpaceX and Anthropic, and the most advanced driverless car fleet on the road, this stock is mispriced. If you believe AI infrastructure matters, Google is the picks and shovels play. If you believe digital advertising keeps growing, Google owns the toll booth. If you believe autonomous vehicles have a future, Waymo is further along than anyone. The company that owns the internet is trading like a value stock. That's not a problem, that's an opportunity. The capital markets are chaos. Embrace it, and I'll see you in the next video.